Cherry Creek Radio has been furnished a fee for the following program.
The following program does not reflect the views and opinions of Cherry Creek Media.
I have been dreaming a new horizon, and a day it all came true. Keller Williams, you make dreams come true. Oh, sweet home, oh, home, sweet home, home, sweet home.
Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. Here's your host, Russ McClellan.
Hey, welcome to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan. How's everybody doing? Another month has passed in the land of COVID. Are we really getting through a world pandemic finally? It kind of feels like it. I mean, there's some parts of the country that are already there, other parts of the country that are still right in the middle of it. So depending on what is happening in your neck of the woods and in your particular family and your mindset, we have a spectrum for sure. And that's an interesting thing, a spectrum, especially of something that we haven't seen really in our lifetime, most of our lifetime. I think 19-something, maybe 1918 was the last time there was something crazy, a world pandemic. So it's taught us a lot. And for me personally, I remember being 19, getting into real estate and getting a finance degree, thinking I should get a job because that's what they said. You can go to work at JCPenney for $19,000 a year. That was about what the starting wages were. You can get in their finance department, Sears. I mean, I'm dating myself to say the least, but that's kind of the conversation. Now, the really smart people went to Microsoft, that little company over there on the west side of the mountains. They did all right. Those original guys at Microsoft, they did all right. But I went into real estate, and the reason I went into real estate was freedom. And I think freedom is a good word, and it doesn't apply just in the political ideology. Freedom applies in your choices. And I think there's an interesting thing happening right now, right? We're seeing stress manifest itself differently in different ways and different styles with different personalities. And real estate has given us a tool, a vehicle, if you choose it, to transform your life from being stuck, possibly, and I believe there's a lot of people that are feeling stuck right now, to being unstuck, to taking control, to taking action, to deciding that I'm not going to allow the external forces to control my life. I am going to step forward into the light, and I'm not going to focus on the darkness on the side of the tunnel, but the light at the end of the tunnel. And one of the people that I admire most that did that is sitting right in front of me. Lois Daigneult. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
Great. I appreciate you being in the studio and not on the phone. I love that because I'm an old dog learning new tricks with virtual everything. And so what I find interesting is this. I think it's rare to see people of extreme talent to have the courage to change when they're comfortable. I mean, it's one thing to change when you're stuck. It's another thing to change when things are doing okay. And you were doing okay when we got together, when I met you. So I thought I'd introduce you because I think you're going to be an inspiration to a lot of people right now as we sit here in June of 2021 and the coming out, hopefully, of the pandemic. Yet there's a lot of pain out there. There's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of confusion. I think synonymous with COVID will be the word confusion in years to come as we look back, because it was definitely not an exact science, to say the least. So I would like you to just kind of tell everyone what in the heck happened to get you to come to Keller Williams and maybe tell us a little bit about your background, because you are a phenomenal human being.
Yeah, thank you, Russ. I appreciate that. I appreciate the introduction. I come from an incredible family to begin with. Family of athletes, mom and dad, hard workers, like most families. And my father was a professional football player, had 5 daughters, and here we all are in the Northwest. Made different changes, made different choices as we went through our lives. We're all athletes. I have a young sister that was an Olympic swimmer. I was an Olympic coach in '96 for swimming. And so we came up with, a family that was very positive and believed in risk-taking and putting your best foot forward at any point in time, whether it was hard, whether it was easy. And it's never easy, ever easy. And it's never easy to make a choice either for a change. It's tough. It's really tough. So I ended up, traveled the whole world doing camps and clinics most of my life. I was a coach for 30 years and came over to the Northwest to be with my family and started in the marketing business. So I was here in Wenatchee for 4 or 5 years in the marketing side of things and decided it wasn't enough for me. And I think that's an individual choice also. Like, what's enough for you? And where are you in life? And, what can you do? And it's a personal choice. It's kind of an internal conversation that you have with yourself. Am I happy? Is this where I want to be? Is this where I want to go? Is this what I want to do? And is this going to be my life? I'm not young. I'm in my late 50s. And what I was doing was not enough for me, and I wasn't happy in it. So my philosophy in life is, if you're not happy, make a change or start something to make that change. And that's when I was in marketing. I met Russ, and he recruited me for a couple of years. And I'm happy he did. I took my time through the process, and that's something that's really, really important. To understand. When you're making a change, it's not overnight. It's a process, and I'm really happy that I made the choice to come to Keller Williams. I'm really happy that I made the choice to start something new, even though it was scary. And it's that first step.
Yeah, and to give a perspective, you've been with our team in Chelan, the Frontline team, which is out of our office right there in Lakeside, for how long now?
A year.
A year. Just like that. A year full of normalcy, right? Nothing, no big deal. Just a little world pandemic to throw at you. But you know what? Your background in coaching, if nothing else, I believe, has taught you, in addition to, as you said, hard work ethic from your childhood, but it has taught you to have the courage to be honest with yourself. And I think that as people are listening to this show or this segment, whether it's social media or on the radio or wherever we're out there trying to inspire people to be brave, that's where I think it starts. Would you agree with that? Because I think that the reality is when you're comfortable and you've taken a risk prior to being comfortable in order to get to that level of comfort. So you started from scratch somewhere in your life. You made a change and then you made another change. And I think that courage to make change is often the part of the equation that traps people where they're at.
Well, there's courage, but I think the most important thing, for me anyway, is being open to growth and continually growing, continually challenging yourself, not being comfortable. Taking another step, and that step helps to teach you more about who you are. Every time you take a step, you learn something, even though it may be a scary step. You learn something about yourself. And in the end, you look back and you say, oh, geez, why didn't I do that earlier? And it's always that, it's always that response. Oh, I should have done this 10 years ago. So it's just that first step.
Yeah, one of the things that it comes with anything is enthusiasm if you want it to be successful. I don't know very many successful people. And successful is a word in itself that can be defined by the individual, not by the exterior and the judgment. And I think part of this new world that we're living in, especially through the lockdown, is the virtual component, i.e. social media giants, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc., changed the landscape of people emotionally, and we all got addicted to the dopamine hit on that like when someone hits your little button. Now, you've been pretty successful at not falling into that trap per se, and I've tried to be pretty successful at it, and I try to keep all of our social media content about inspiration. In fact, I have kind of an unwritten rule, and for those that have made negative comments, you find yourself blocked. And I don't care if you're in my family or out of my family, because I just believe the platform should be used for good, not evil. And judgment from the outside should not rule your life on the inside. And so really getting inspired to be honest with yourself and inspired to continue to grow. So to me, could you talk, especially as it relates to real estate and to your previous 30 years of coaching, the difference between inspiration and motivation? Because I think that's awful. A lot of times that's confused. And what I see it as, just to kind of to lead you to what I'm thinking, is motivation is fleeting. Like as a coach, you can motivate somebody, but if they're not inspired, it won't last. Mm-hmm. You know, you kind of need your own big why.
Okay, so there's a big difference between motivation and inspiration. I think inspiration comes from external factors, people that are around you, great teachers, great coaches, your family. That's inspiration. Motivation, they can inspire you to continue. Motivation is internal.
Yeah, I think that there's something that must give you that boost to wake up and just shake your head. It's kind of like in Little League when we used to yell at the umpires, hey, shake your head, your eyes are stuck, ref. Like, come on now. So when we come back, what I'd like to do as we end this first segment, and this is interesting because it's going to set up like how you took control and stepped into a growth mindset again. That's exciting for a lot of people, but it's not easy. When we come right back with Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Lois Daigneult, we will talk a little bit more about that subject.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true. Home Sweet Home.
Hey, this is Russ McClellan, operating partner and designated broker of Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington. Hey, I'm excited to say we are growing at an unprecedented rate. We're almost 70 real estate brokers and popping about 3 deals a day in some cases. It's really pretty fun. And the reason I wanted to do an ad today was about our people. The culture of Keller Williams is really simple this. We believe in an abundant mindset, not a scarcity mindset. What does that mean? Well, although we're competitive, we all go out and try to get some similar listings. And with almost 70 people, you might think that that's a problem. But in reality, with an abundant mindset, we know that for us to win, you don't have to lose. With our creative marketing that is unbelievable, with our operating system Command, we're reaching literally hundreds of thousands of people instantly. So if you're interested in selling or buying with one of our agents, trust me, you won't be disappointed. Give us a call at our office, 509-888-0038, or email me direct at russ@frontlinechelan.com. Hey, this is Russ McClellan with Keller Williams. I want to talk to you about something. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel the financial pressures of the COVID virus? That was fun, wasn't it? I'll tell you what, real estate can be a game changer for you, and I'm here to help you. If you want to give me a call at 509-888-0038, I want to talk about your life and getting unstuck. We are growing rapidly. We're the fastest growing real estate company in all of North Central Washington. Give us a call. I want to help you. 509-888-0038.
You're listening to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and friends. And here's Russ.
Welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and amazing guests like this one right in front of me. Hello, Lois.
Hello.
Hey, you know what we're doing? We're talking about how to change your world. Bottom line, are we immortal? I don't think so. You know, immortality would be fun, would give us a lot of time to be all kinds of things, from, like your dad, professional football players, if we could manage to run faster and be stronger and jump higher. But not all of us can do that. Or to be an astronaut, maybe that'd be fun. Or maybe be whatever you want to be, right? If we were immortal, we could spend an eternity just being patient, being stuck. Wouldn't be a big deal. But the reality is we're not. We are human beings, and we have a lifespan. So let's call it 100 years. And that's really if you're pretty dang lucky. We have 100 years. Like Lois, I'm in my 50s, and here we sit, excited, enthusiastic, getting up every day, helping people achieve their dreams in real estate. And what I love about what Lois did is she was in a very comfortable position because she's a very talented person making, for our area, very good money. And when I started recruiting her, as she said in the last segment, it took 2 years, but I believe that's because we were also a startup, right? I mean, she was our radio executive helping us build this show and other ads that we did. And for me, as a person that also watches things and tries to learn from things around me, Lois, I think you did that. I think you watched and learned about Keller Williams through your role as our ad exec at the radio station, right? And pretty soon, I think there was an alignment of what you were looking for and what Keller Williams provides. So for those people out there, whether they're in a dead-end job or a successful career that they hate, or maybe something that they just need to do something else, how would you explain the process from the moment you decided, okay, I'm going to make a change? What happened next?
Well, first of all, I had a bird's eye view, right? Because I saw Keller Williams grow. And so I was very fortunate to be in that process, to see the whole process. That's number one. Number two, what I really, really appreciated about watching this, because I didn't jump in immediately. I kind of stood back, watched, and I really, really, really appreciated the people, because in this business, in any business that you're in, really, everything is about your relationships. Everything is about the people that you are in contact with. And, you've got to, for me, something that was really important was those relationships, was coming into this office and seeing how everybody worked together, seeing the smiles, seeing the positive, always being able to get a response, a good answer, never feeling like your question was a ridiculous question, always being supported. And you could see it. I wasn't part of the team. I was developing this show right here, but I could see it. I could feel it. I watched it on a daily basis before I even decided to make a decision. And that was the first thing that grabbed my attention.
Okay, so now when we look back at the landscape of our communities, knowing what you know now and having that ability and luxury, frankly, to spend time watching Keller Williams and this little, vision that I had grow, what would you say to people that don't have that luxury in order to get them to make a change, realizing that they want to make a change, but they're not sure what that looks like?
And how to do it.
Right.
Well, Keller Williams, another very, very positive part of this is the educational process behind it. You are supported. If you're looking at trying to make a change, you're not sure how to get in, you just have a conversation. Give us a call, and we'll bring you through the process. We'll just have a conversation. You'll meet the people. And, as I said earlier, this is not a quick fix. This is a process, like anything in life. It's a process. So if you've got a full-time job or even a part-time job and you want to, you kind of want to put your toe in the water and get a little bit wet, this is an opportunity just to take a look, just to have a conversation. And maybe, and we have the people that will direct you and help you through the entire process. And it can be slow or it could be fast. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be a year before you finish the process. But what I'm here to tell you is it doesn't matter. What matters is that you take the first step, and that's all that matters. And you have a support team behind you that will help you get there.
Yeah, you have a luxury also of growing up in a household with a professional athlete who has a mindset like most professional athletes, I'm sure. I didn't have the luxury yet of knowing your father. But the people that are excelling at a high level typically understand that they need to move forward, they need to grow, they need to change. It's just something that is built into them, instinctual almost. That my dad used to say, it's hard to go forward when you're standing still. There's a lot of truth to that, right? And time has this way, I don't know about how you feel, but I feel the older I get, the faster time accelerates. It's like physics. I'm looking at more sand in the bottom of the hourglass than the top, and frankly, that scares the hell out of me. And I've always been one of those people that is a risk-taking machine. In fact, when I went broke in the recession, I found it to be an interesting experiment because I had had a pretty good gig. Grew up in Leave It to Beaverland. And again, for those people who don't know what that is, look it up on YouTube. It's kind of like Mayberry. You can look that one up on YouTube also. But I grew up in Mayberry with great parents. And I was able to, as a small kid, play all sports. And ironically, football was my favorite one. And when I started at 118 pounds as a freshman, in a bigger school, I probably wouldn't have been out there. But I ended up getting a scholarship to play football at 150 pounds. So the reason I'm bringing this up is that you and me and a lot of people are driven like that, right? That's how we're wired. But that doesn't mean that you have to be wired like that. And I think to your point, with the systems and the education and training behind you, all you have to do, which is not trying to minimize this, but is ask the question, are you happy where you're at? And if the answer is yes, regardless of what it is, regardless of what it pays, regardless of what you do, if you are happy, then you have excelled in life. If you are not happy, or if you think there's something more, it does not hurt to have a conversation, right?
Absolutely.
And that's to your point. And I think so often this human need for certainty is very fundamental. It's in our DNA. And so that's why it's hard for people in a lot of cases to make that step into a different game. Because being uncomfortable, although it is the path to, in my opinion, happiness, getting comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Yeah, and there's also another major factor as far as I'm concerned. It's your attitude. It is about whether you are, you wake up with a positive mindset or a negative mindset. And that determines everything. And I'm not going to get into it, but there is a physiological aspect to a positive attitude and a negative attitude. And different hormones and different things are released in your body that create different experiences. So, your mindset. Am I open? Am I positive about what is going to happen or what I want in my life? Yes. If you're not, then you're less likely to take a risk. And it is about taking risk. It is about, for everybody, risk is different. But taking that step and having a mindset that says, I can do this, or just being positive, seeing it in a different way, and a positive way makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, what I think is often the case is the difference that separates adventure from an ordeal is your attitude. That's the bottom line. And I'm trying to think as we're sitting here talking, because you're such a great example for so many people that want to do something. They really do. They really deep down want to do something, but unfortunately they didn't grow up in a family like yours or mine. Maybe it's their spouse. Maybe it's their girlfriend or boyfriend. Maybe it's their friends. But often those people closest to us, probably through the lens of trying to protect us, often douse dreams. And it makes it very difficult when your sphere is not supportive of you. So what would you say to someone, as we got about a minute left in this segment, to someone that is in a situation where they're not getting supported, but they know they have that inner fire in them?
Well, and I'm going to tell you this. It isn't easy for anyone. Support is fantastic, but it's never easy. It wasn't easy for me to make that choice. Just because I have that support behind me, it's always a risk, and it's always a tough decision. And so it wasn't easy for me, but I made it because I knew I was open and I wanted to grow.
Yeah. I can promise you this. If you call me, you call any one of our people, you can trust that we're going to have your best interest at heart, and we're going to help you win. Winning is different for everybody. When we come right back, we're going to talk about winning, and that's what my friend Lois is doing. We'll come back in a few minutes. Thanks for tuning in.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true. Oh, sweet home. Oh, sweet home.
Hey, this is Russ McClellan, operating partner and designated broker of Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington. Hey, I'm excited to say we are growing at an unprecedented rate. We're almost 70 real estate brokers and popping about 3 deals a day in some cases. It's really pretty fun. And the reason I wanted to do an ad today was about our people. The culture of Keller Williams is really simple this. We believe in an abundant mindset, not a scarcity mindset. What does that mean? Well, although we're competitive, we all go out and try to get some similar listings. And with almost 70 people, you might think that that's a problem. But in reality, with an abundant mindset, we know that for us to win, you don't have to lose. With our creative marketing that is unbelievable, with our operating system Command, we're reaching literally hundreds of thousands of people instantly. So if you're interested in selling or buying with one of our agents, trust me, you won't be disappointed. Give us a call at our office, 509-888-0038, or email me direct at russ@frontlinechelan.com. Hi, this is Russ McClellan, designated broker and operating partner of Keller Williams Realty NCW. We have almost 70 agents and growing rapidly. We're almost a legit company now with over 2.5 years experience. The good news is this: if you're thinking about changing your life, my goal and my mission to you is to help you transform the life that you deserve and that you want, using real estate as the vehicle to do that. What does that mean? Well, it means whatever you want it to mean. If you want to work part-time, I'll show you how to do it. If you want to work full-time, I'll show you how to do it. And I'm also willing to show and demonstrate our commitment to you and our conviction to our company and transparency by giving you any of the numbers of any of the 70 people that work at Keller Williams. We're a family, we care about each other, and we care about you. So if you want to change your life, you want to get into real estate and have some fun, let's get together and talk. 509-888-0038. Give me a call anytime. You can also call my cell phone at 509-470-2416.
You're tuned to Russ McClellan and Friends on the real estate show Home Sweet Home. Let's get back to Russ.
Welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan. Beautiful day in June 2021. Post-COVID virus. All right, I said it. Post-COVID virus. We're opening up. Let's have some fun again, people. I'm with Lois Daigneult with Frontline Real Estate Team, powered by Keller Williams in Lake Chelan, Washington, who also was very inspirational in creating this show. Hi, Lois.
Hello.
Let's get into X's and O's. We've been talking mindset and emotion, inspiration, motivation, getting unstuck. Now let's talk about X's and O's. You've been with us for 1 year. How are you doing now? Are you busy? Are you slow? Are you making money? Are you learning? What's happening?
Well, it's been a wonderful process. I like to learn, and I've had the opportunity to, through Keller Williams, learn, take courses, and I have an opportunity to learn every day if I like. And that's part of my routine also. I try and get in a course every morning with leads, lead contact, and then I'm out on the road. It has been a great year. I'm somebody who really likes to get as much information as I possibly can before going out. So there is a learning curve. There's no question. And there's so much information in real estate. But the fun part is that it's all provided through Keller Williams. And I was fortunate to join the Keller Williams Frontline team in Lake Chelan. And so the support that I had from my team has been amazing. To be able to just give anyone a call, what's that? How do I do this? The support that I've had, I couldn't do it without them. And so I would highly recommend when you're starting out in this business to be part of a team because the learning curve is obviously a lot quicker. And there are people like Russ with 30 years of experience, knows everyone, and so that's been fun. So I like to learn. I like a growth mindset. So I've learned so much over this last year, which I really appreciate. And part of being confident in this business and in any business is having the knowledge. And so over the course of the year, I've picked up more and more. And of course, there's more confidence as you go out and sell. You're out there in Lake Chelan on a mountain telling people about the sewer system and septic and, learning about all of those new nuances and new things have been fantastic. So having said that, it's been an extraordinary year for me because I like that growth mindset. I've learned a lot. I love the business, and I really like the flexibility. And it's funny, when it's your own business and when you're in it, because you love it and you're in it because you want to help people, there's no time. And for me, there is no time. So in terms of all of that, I have had quite a few sales. And like any business, as you start out, it takes time to grow your business. So you have to be prepared for that, I think. But it has been an extraordinary experience for my first year. Love it.
Yeah, well, you're not afraid to do the hard work, right? So that's part of it. What often is the case, what I've seen in people that come from a background, especially if you're getting a W-2 as an employee, and you come into real estate and you do have that flexibility, it can be a trap mentally because all of a sudden you don't have somebody telling you when to get up, when to take a break, when to have lunch, when to go home, and you end up sitting around eating bonbons, right? I've seen it happen over and over and over again. I've actually asked a person once, I said, you're doing 80 hours in your day job that you hated, and so you got into real estate, and now you're not doing as well as you thought you were. But I said, how many hours are you actually putting into your business? Because it is your business. You're now an entrepreneur, right? And there's an old adage, I can't remember what book it was, Entrepreneurship Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy maybe, that said, hey, look, you're a cake baker. Great. You work for a bakery and you bake cakes. Well, as soon as you open your own cake bakery company, you're no longer a cake baker. You're now an entrepreneur. And baking cakes is just one of 100 components. So not to intimidate anybody, but you have to have that mindset of I'm going to give it all I got because you need to in a startup. But when 2 o'clock comes around, your kid has a game. There's no boss telling you can't go to it. What's that worth? What is that, to your point, flexibility worth in your life? Granted, Saturdays and Sundays, sometimes you got to work. But sometimes on Mondays and Tuesdays, you don't. And it can be balance, right? You can have balance as an entrepreneur, and to do that with discipline is also not easy because all of a sudden you're addicted to the deal, and that can be detrimental. So we actually do coaching on balance as well as how to sell real estate. But, before I go, I want you to just talk about, is there a lot of ways to do this game?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can you can keep your full-time job and work on the side for the next 6 months, a year, learning about the business, and then gradually transition. You can you can do part-time. You could go into it full-time. You can dabble in it. You can just get information. I mean, there are so many ways to go about this, and the key is just to start. And by the way, to your point, Russ, when it's your business, it's a different ballgame. Working for someone is very different than your own business. And so I found that my investment, 10 hours in a day goes by so quickly because I'm invested. And so the whole mindset of your own business and doing your own thing is very different than working for someone thinking, I got to go in. And second point to this is the world is changing. And I'm seeing it in real estate. I am seeing people come over from Seattle, Portland, California. They want to buy, they can work from anywhere now. The world is wide open. You can be anywhere at any time and be in this job and run your own business from anywhere. I'm seeing people buy land because they're moving over to the sun and they want their own business. They can do it from anywhere. And that's another really, really positive part about what's going on right now in life. So if you can go anywhere and work from anywhere, why not have your own business? Why not be in control of what you're doing and have the support? A lot of people open their own businesses and they're just out there. Here you go. And it's going to take me 3 years to get it, understand it. But when you have a whole team behind you, that is completely different. It's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, for sure. And you knew by being an ad exec, you had other real estate companies and other real estate agents, not to name names, but there are people in the business that do the business differently. There's a lot of ways to do this game. And if you don't like what you're hearing from another real estate company or another broker, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, and they're like, I don't want that lifestyle. Well, I'm telling you what, maybe that's not what we do. Because I can promise you this, Keller Williams is the only company that does things the way we do. That's why we're now firmly in number 2 in volume and going into our 3rd calendar year of being open, right? That's number 2 in volume. We've passed everybody in the first 2 years of being open. And we're number 1 in agent count with almost 80 agents by far. But you know what? You might look around and go, man, everybody's got a real estate license. There's always room for talent. There's always room for energy. There's always room for enthusiasm. And those people coming out of this last year, to your point, as the landscape changes, if you think you're going to do what you've always done and get what you've always gotten, you will be broke. That's how it's going to go down. You're going to go broke because you must adopt, change, embrace exciting new things, even if it is scary.
But that's the fun part.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Well, I mean, you're taking absolutely zero risk coming to talk to us. No risk at all. Just
Right.
have a conversation. Give us a call. We'll take you through the entire process.
You mentioned that I've been in the game 30 plus years. I have. I got a license in 1989. I don't think the fax machine was invented then, just to put it in perspective for the youngsters out there that are listening. So here's the thing. I'm working on some of the biggest projects that I've ever worked on and have more excitement and energy in my 30-something year than I ever have. And in large part because I gained this thing called wisdom through this other thing called scar tissue of my mind, right? I made a lot of crazy mistakes and learned, right? One of those is humility. And learning through humility to become learning based. You know, if you can survive your 20s and 30s, then hopefully you can get there, right? But if you're willing to listen and you're willing to adopt something new that maybe is different than you're doing now, if you're currently in real estate and you're like, man, this sucks because I'm out there, there's 27 offers on every house and it's just not fair. And you start playing that life is not fair game. Fair and unfair is not the position you want to take. It's all about I'm going to take the bull by the horns and I'm going to plow the road by taking a step with action. Not thinking, action. And that starts by picking up the phone and calling Lois. Because Lois is not an owner. Lois works for Keller Williams with the Frontline team, and she will tell you the honest to goodness truth about her story. That's the thing about transparency in our business of Keller Williams. We are a profit-sharing company. We profit share at almost 49%. No other company does that. Her number, Lois Daigneult, 509-668-7277. Now that I've scared you, get a pen because it's worth the call. It's going to change your life. I promise you, because it changed mine when I talked to her. 509-668-7277. Or you can email her. Now you got to get a pen. Here it comes. Lois, Lois, Daigneault @kw.com.
That was wonderful being here. Make the call. Do it today. Do it now.
Yeah,
That's what I say to everyone. Do it now.
Yeah, we're growing. The world's getting smaller, and we're growing like crazy. We need more people. Thanks for tuning in. We got Michael Maher and Prime Linden coming up in the next segment.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true.
Hey, this is Russ McClellan, operating partner and designated broker of Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington. Hey, I'm excited to say we are growing at an unprecedented rate. We're almost 70 real estate brokers and popping about 3 deals a day in some cases. It's really pretty fun. And the reason I wanted to do an ad today was about our people. The culture of Keller Williams is really simple this. We believe in an abundant mindset, not a scarcity mindset. What does that mean? Well, although we're competitive, we all go out and try to get some similar listings. And with almost 70 people, you might think that that's a problem. But in reality, with an abundant mindset, we know that for us to win, you don't have to lose. With our creative marketing that is unbelievable, with our operating system Command, we're reaching literally hundreds of thousands of people instantly. So if you're interested in selling or buying with one of our agents, trust me, you won't be disappointed. Give us a call at our office, 509-888-0038, or email me direct at russ@frontlinechelan.com. Hey, this is Russ McClellan with Keller Williams. I want to talk to you about something. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel the financial pressures of the COVID virus? That was fun, wasn't it? I'll tell you what, real estate can be a game changer for you, and I'm here to help you. If you want to give me a call at 509-888-0038, I want to talk about your life and getting unstuck. We are growing rapidly. We're the fastest growing real estate company in all of North Central Washington. Give us a call. I want to help you. 509-888-0038.
You're listening to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. And here's Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan. Thanks for tuning in. I'm telling you, if you have questions about what's really going on with culture, knowledge, education system, tools, and technology at Keller Williams, call those people that don't have ownership stake, but they do profit share, so they are going to tell you how it works and why it works for them. And there's a lot of ways to do real estate. Speaking of a lot of ways to do real estate, I got Michael Maher, as always, from Prime Lending on the phone. Hi, Michael.
Russ, how's it going?
It's going great. I mean, here we are. We're moving out of COVID, hopefully. We're starting to open up, starting to be that old free country again, and hopefully less and less people getting sick. So I'm excited about this summer. Hey, we were off air. We were talking about a couple things where we all know that the prices are not getting, I wouldn't say they're going down, would you? I mean, I'm seeing some strange stuff out there. So, you had mentioned jumbo loans. And so I thought maybe we could just touch on that. We kick these terms around in real estate, and we do it every day, so we know. Let's pretend we're talking to somebody that has no clue what a jumbo loan is. How would you describe it?
Yeah, so a jumbo loan, and this is a very important factor of this, is a loan amount that goes in. It's typically in Chelan and Douglas County or the surrounding areas. The maximum loan amount for a standard, conventional, conforming loan is going to be $548,250. So if you go $1 over that on your loan amount, you are now in what's called jumbo territory. And I want to make sure that that's clear, is it's actually the loan amount, not the purchase price. So if you buy a $750,000 house and you put $200,000 down and you're under that $548,250, then you're not in jumbo. It's just going off that loan amount. And what that means to someone who's looking at wanting to purchase a home, if they don't have enough to bring it under that loan amount to keep it not jumbo, is basically just some stricter guidelines. Credit score, reserves, which is just money in the bank. It comes down to debt to income ratios. There's a few products in the jumbo territory that have some stricter guidelines that you have to adhere to in order to get qualified. And it's important, if you're in that realm, to be working with a lender that has a lot of experience with jumbo, because you can quickly become a lot more than people expect. And often they're not the same as a conforming loan, and the guidelines are much stricter. So it's good to have someone that can navigate those guidelines with you so that you can make sure that your approval sticks and that you can end up with the house.
Right. And there are some creative options if you're on the bubble, right? If you're right on that edge. What I love about what Prime Lending does, you and Sharon Crockett, you both will look at somebody's goal and there's sometimes more than one way to do it, right?
Yep, exactly.
I mean, you could look at the down payment. Maybe they were going to put in 40% down or 50% down. You can do 20% instead and vice versa, right? So sometimes that loan amount to stay, if you can, it's wise to stay under the jumbo loan amount if it's possible.
Yeah, it makes things a lot easier if you can. And like you said, to touch on the creativity, we do offer some second loan options for people. So if you came in with X number of dollars and you didn't have the remainder, you can actually get a second loan. And there's guideline restrictions on that, but that's been relatively popular in this area too, to help buy down that first loan so that you're not in jumbo territory. And then the guidelines a lot more lenient as far as other than going into jumbo.
Yeah, so you could maybe be creative if you're right on that bubble of the jumbo amount, which was like right around 515,000. You could go
548.
548. Okay, so right around that number, you could maybe get a $500,000 first and a $100,000 second, and maybe close them simultaneously.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then
exactly, and it works. It's very popular.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the word creativity, some people think it's a negative word, but it's not. All I look at creativity is knowledge, right? What is creative to somebody is normal to somebody else that has the knowledge and is versed in it. So doing everything the same just doesn't make sense, because we all come from different places. We all have different financial situations. We all have different history, and we all have different ambitions and goals as it relates to our real estate purchases. So what Mike and Sharon do is they will take your story, they will listen to you, and then they will talk about the goals and the challenges within the goals to make sure you're not losing out on something that otherwise you might take. And sometimes that's where you can run into some challenges, right? If you only sell a certain product as a financial institution, that might be limiting. One of the things we talk about a lot, Michael, is that in this market, when you have let's say Wenatchee, and you have a $325,000 house, how many offers do you think we're going to see on that $325,000 house right now?
35 or more, some ridiculous number.
Yeah, it's crazy, and so all of a sudden we're seeing escalation addendums, which basically means I'll offer you $325,000, but I'll go to $400,000 if other people bid me up. So we have a bidding war. Well, it's great for sellers, and it's worth playing the game, because sometimes you're willing to do that, especially with interest rates being so low that often the price you pay isn't as important as the interest you pay. So when we think about not buying today and waiting a year, we might be facing who knows what interest rate and higher prices, which is a double whammy. So what I like to say to people, I just did this to a friend of mine, I like to say, look where other people aren't looking. If 90% of the people are looking for a 3-bedroom house, it's $325,000, and you're going to get 40 offers on the table in one day. So maybe go look at the 2-bedroom house. Maybe go look at the 1-bedroom house. And one might instantly say, well, that's dumb. I have 3 kids. Okay, well, this is where you come in, Mike. What would you tell somebody that was willing to do a little extra effort and be a little creative with respect to your enhancement loan? How does that work?
That's a great point to bring up. As far as the enhancement loan, rehab, renovation, goes by a few different names. And basically, you can turn around and you can add a second or a third bathroom. I've had people add a second story on their house, remodel the kitchen. You can get septic updated. You can get electrical updated. You can take a house that anyone else might look at as a project or rundown or something that doesn't meet their initial needs and make it meet your initial needs, all while lowering the amount of buyers that you're going up against as far as being competitive. And just because you have some creative financing in your back pocket that other people may not know about, you could totally swoop in and grab the property and make it exactly what you want, while financing in all of the repairs or additions into the actual cost of the loan. Yeah,
I mean, the bottom line is imagination equals equity. And what I mean by that is if the house is retail shape, you're going to pay retail price. If the house is an ugly duckling, you might be able to come in and pay wholesale. And although it is expensive to build right now, so you do have to like get some real bids and do some homework. But if I was in that market right now, I'd be looking for the ugly ducklings. That house with the horrible, kitchen, the house with a horrible roof, the house that has one bedroom but on a nice lot, and then go create what I really want. Now, there's more steps involved, and it's not as easy, but it's not as hard as you might think it is either if you get the people like Prime Lending in your corner. So,
Exactly.
you told me a story about a guy who just did that on the west side, didn't he?
Yeah, he was in Port Townsend. He had the ability to pay cash for it, but it wasn't what he wanted at all. And he was very concerned. He loved the view. It was exactly what he wanted. The house just wasn't up to par. So he paid cash for it because he had just sold another home, turned around, and he's now doing what's called a renovation refinance. The same thing as if you were to purchase the home, the same steps are involved. And now he's adding 2 bedrooms, a bath, and a garage onto the property to make it exactly how he wants it.
Yeah, so there's a perfect example. It was like a 1-bedroom, shack, and everybody else probably went by it and said, "This is a piece of crap. I'm not buying that." And then because he had imagination and was willing to do a little homework and worked with Prime Lending and understood the process, he was able to create, to your words, exactly what he wanted on a beautiful lot. And all of a sudden, bam, he has equity instantly, which is kind of a lost art right now. I mean, that's so hard to do, to get equity instantly when you're in a seller's market. So anyway, just being creative and being open-minded and working with expert advisors that really do have your goals in mind and have more knowledge and are more versed in products, financial products, is, I don't know, it could be the difference maker in today's seller's market.
100%.
Yeah, we got about a minute left, Michael. What are rates doing right now? What do you expect to happen in the near future?
Right now, rates are hovering in those high 2s, low 3s. Everything's pretty steady as of right now. There's not a lot of ups and downs, big swings. We do expect them to rise over time, as good things have to come to an end at some point, which could in turn be helpful to buyers if people aren't getting these just incredibly low rates. That could help, just change things up a little bit, because things, as you know, having been in this business for so long, things constantly ebb and flow. But right now, still an amazing time to get in and take advantage of these historically low rates, but all signs point to them starting to increase in the future. So it's just a matter of time.
All right. Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, thanks a lot. Hey, everybody, get outside. The sun's shining. Tough times don't last. We're getting through it, but tough people do. So I appreciate you tuning in. Have a fantastic week. Look forward to seeing you next time on Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends.
It's a brand new day. Just came my way. I bought a new home. Yeah, home, sweet home. Oh, home, sweet home. Keller Williams. I love my dream home. Yeah, I love my dream home. Home, sweet home.
The preceding program is sponsored in part by Keller Williams, Prime Lending, and Frontline Real Estate.
More complete coverage, more breaking stories here. News Radio 560 KPQ Wenatchee.